So in yesterday's class, we are looking at stock taking, and we said that stock taking, it's mainly physical counting of stock in store. So in every organization, you find that at the end of a given period, you need to know how many units that do you still have in your store. Then you do a stock taking. So you just count the number of units that you have in your store. So in stock taking, we have got various systems that are used in stock taking. We have what we call perpetual inventory, we have periodic inventory, and then we have continuous stock taking. So if you look at what we call the perpetual inventory, in perpetual inventory, you record all the goods that you have received, the good issued out, and then the running balances. So if you remember our discussion yesterday, we looked at the stock ledger. So this information can be got from the stock ledger. So you look at your stock ledger, and then you look at how many units that were received, how many units that were issued out, and then how many units that are still in your store. So that's what we refer to as the perpetual stock taking. So and after you have looked at your stock ledger, then you count, or you do what we call a physical count of your stock in store, because in some cases you may find that what you have recorded is different from what you have physically. So you do a physical count of the units and then reconcile what you have on your stock ledgers to what you have counted physically. So that is the perpetual stock taking. So another method or another system that we have is what we call a periodical stock taking. In a periodic stock taking, you do count of stock, but in a given period of time, maybe after 2 months, or after 6 months, or after a year. So you may have that every maybe 6 months you are going to do a stock taking. So after 6 months you go to your store, then you do a physical count of the stock on hand in your store. Or after the end of the year, you do a physical count of stock on hand in your store. So that is periodic. You have periods, or you have established period on which you do a stock taking in your organization. So another system that is used is what called continuous stock taking. As I said before, the continuous stock taking is similar to perpetual stock taking, because you record the balances, and under these balances are compared with the physical balances, meaning that you look at your stock ledger every time you look at your stock ledger, and then from these stock ledgers you compare with the physical count of the stock that you do. So this method of continuous stock taking is almost similar to the previous method that we have discussed of perpetual stock taking. So let's look at what we mean by stock control. When it comes to stock control, it is mainly ensuring that you have enough stock. And when we talk of stock, we mean the stock of raw material, we mean the stock of work in progress, we mean stock of finished goods, we mean spare parts that are used in production, and the stock of equipment. So the main issue here is to ensure that you have the right quantity of goods at the right price and at the right time. So that is the main issue in stock control. It's about ensuring that you have the right quantity of the goods, you have the right stock, the right good at the right price, and then at the right time. So because what you need to avoid that you don't keep too high stock or too much stock, but at the same time you don't keep low stock. So if you have too high stock, we have what we call redundancy stock, that some of your stock is not used. But if the stock is also low, then it means that you may end up running out of stock. So in stock control, you are ensuring that you have enough stock at the right time and at the right place at the right place. So let's look at the objectives of stock control. So one of the objectives of stock control is to ensure the availability of goods when required. That is to ensure that you have the goods. In case a customer places an order, then you have the goods to serve your customers. That is the one objective. Another objective is to account for goods which have been purchased, to ensure that there is efficient utilization of the goods that you have purchased, because what you have in your stock is equivalent to the cash. So you need to ensure that those resources that you have purchased or those goods that you have purchased are utilized efficiently and effectively. Another reason is to reduce storage costs as much as possible. That is to ensure that the costs that are involved in storage are minimized. We shall discuss this when we are looking at economic order quantity. Then to minimize the risk of deterioration or wastage or theft. That is to, when you are carrying out a stock control, you are ensuring that the goods that you have in your store are kept well, so such that you avoid deterioration, that stock can lose value, or stock can get damaged in store, or people stealing stock from your store. Another objective is to maintain accurate records. So because remember we said when we are discussing this that the main purpose of the storekeeper, or the main work of a storekeeper, is to record the goods that are coming in, to record the goods that are being issued out, and to record the balance of the goods. So at every time, that is, a storekeeper must ensure that accurate records are maintained regarding store. Another, we have to avoid overstocking and understocking. So we shall discuss this in our stock levels, that we avoid of having too much stock, that is overstocking. That if you have too much stock, you are putting most of your resources at redundant, or avoiding understocking, avoiding that your stock should go low to miss orders from the customers. So how do we set stock levels? When we are setting stock levels, because when it comes to stock levels, we have the maximum level, we have the minimum level, we have the reorder levels, and other buffer levels, as we are going to discuss in our later slides. So when we are talking about factors to consider, or factors that are affecting the stock level, one is the availability of materials. If the materials are readily available, you may not need to keep a lot of stock, because anytime you want the material, you can be able to access those materials. So if there is already availability of the material in store, in the market is okay, then it may not require you to have a very big concern about having a lot of stock of materials in your store, because anytime you need this material, you can be able to access those material in your store. Another factor is the lead time. When we talk of the lead time, we mean the period between when you place an order for the material and when that order is received. So that period when you place an order and when you receive the order is what we call a lead time. So if the lead time is high, then you need to maintain high stock level such that you don't run out of stock. So you are going to look at, if the lead time is low, then you may not need to keep a lot of stock. So you are going to look at how long can I take to receive stock when I have placed an order. So that is going to give you an insight or a clue on the level of stock that you should keep in your store. Another factor we are talking about is the stock holding cost. When we talk of the stock holding cost, we mean the costs incurred to keep stock keep stock. We shall look at this in economic order quantity. Stock holding cost, we said we are looking at the cost that you incur if you keep 1 unit of stock in your store. So the higher the cost, the higher if the cost is high, then you may not keep a lot of stock in your store. But if the cost of keeping a unit in store is low, then you can keep many units in your store. Then we have what we call consumption level. What's the consumption rate of the units? If you have a very high consumption rate, then you need to have high stock in your store. But if you have a low consumption rate, then you don't need to keep a lot of stock in your store. Another issue is what called trade discount. We shall discuss this one also more when we are discussing economic order quantity. So trade discount, we are looking at if you purchase. In most cases, suppliers offer discounts if you purchase in large quantity. So if a supplier has offered a discount, of course you need to evaluate the cost of the discount. So, but if the cost of the discount is low, then you may end up buying in large quantity. And if you buy in large quantity, then automatically you are going to keep high stock levels. Then we have what we call durability. How the goods you have kept, how durable are they? How long can they stay in store? Some goods can stay in store for a few period or for a few days and then they become bad. So you need to consider that. You need to look at that issue of durability of the goods. If the goods can take only a short period of time, then you don't need to keep high level of stock. But if goods can take a longer period of time, then you can be able to keep high levels of stock. So as I said before, we looking at stock levels, and as I said, when it comes to stock level, we have the maximum stock level, we have the minimum stock level, and we have the reorder levels. So when we talk of the maximum stock level, we say the max is the level beyond which stock should not be allowed to arise. That is the level at which, beyond which it shows that you are overstocking. So if you exceed that point, then it is an indicator that you are putting a lot of stock in your store that is not needed. That is what we call maximum stock level. When it comes to the minimum stock level is the level at which stock should not go below. So if your stock reaches that point, then it is an indicator that any time you are going to run out of stock. So the minimum level, you shouldn't leave your stock to reach a maximum or to exceed the maximum, but you shouldn't also allow your stock to reach a minimum level. Then we also have what we call reorder level. When we say reorder level, is the level at which you should place an order for the material. So meaning that if your stock reaches that point, automatically you are supposed to make an order for the material or to make an order for the goods. So those are the levels of stock. We have the maximum, the minimum, and then the so we also have what we call the order quantity. And when we talk of the order quantity, we mean the quantity for which purchase order is placed. Most especially, we look at this under the economic order quantity, because you are looking at the quantity that you should buy, or the quantity that you are going to purchase when you place an order. That's what we call the order quantity. It's going to depend. If you are buying at the discount, then it may be a different quantity. But if you want to minimize cost related to stock, then you are going to buy at economic order quantity. So another one, we have what we call average stock. And when we talk of average stock, we mean maximum stock level and the minimum stock level maximum stock level plus minimum stock level, then we divide by. So how do we compute these levels of stock? So the first one we talked about is the is the reorder level, and to get the reorder level, we get the maximum consumption times maximum read time or read period. You get your maximum consumption times the maximum read time. For example, if in a month you consume between 1,000 to 5,000 units, then it means your minimum consumption is 1,000, then your maximum consumption is 5,000. So your maximum consumption will be 5,000. Then we also multiply by the maximum read time. The read time, we say, if for example you take from 1 month to 3 months to receive stock, it means 1 month is your minimum read time and 3 months is the maximum read time. So you are going to get 3, which is the maximum read time, times 5,000, which is the maximum consumption, and then you get your reorder level. Another one we have is the minimum stock level. The minimum stock level, we have the reorder level minus, this is average consumption times average read time. So when you say average consumption, as we have seen in our previous slide, you are getting maximum consumption plus minimum consumption, then divided by 2 to get this average consumption. You get the maximum consumption plus minimum consumption divided by 2, then you get your average. Then to get the average read time, you are still going to get your maximum read time plus minimum read time, then divide by 2. So as I was explaining, the another one we have is the maximum stock level, where you are going to get the reorder level plus reorder quantity minus, that is in bracket, the minimum consumption times the minimum read time. From our previous example that I was saying that if your consumption is between 1,000 to 5,000, so it means that your minimum consumption is 1,000 and your maximum consumption is 5,000. And the read time, we said it's from 1 month to 3 months, meaning that your minimum read time is 1 month and your maximum read time is 3 months. So if you are computing, when you are computing your reorder level, you are going to get 5,000 times 3 months, then you get 15,000 as your reorder level. When you come to the minimum stock level, we are saying you are getting your reorder level, which you have calculated above as 15,000 minus. Now our average consumption will be 1,000, which is our minimum, plus our maximum, which is 5,000, then divided by 2, and then you get an average consumption of 3,000. Then our minimum read time, the average read time will be the 1 month, which is the minimum, plus 3 months, which is the maximum, then divided by 2. Then you get 2 as your average read time. So you are getting the 3,000, which is the average consumption, times 2, which is the average read time, then you get 6,000. So this implies that your minimum stock level will be equal to 15,000, which is the average, which is the reorder level, minus 6,000, which is the average average consumption minus. So you are going to get 99,000. So that will be your stock minimum stock level. So to get the maximum stock level, then you will need this reorder quantity, because you don't have the reorder quantity. But you can also, if you have the reorder quantity, then it can be simple for you to be able to get your maximum level. So to be able to get the reorder quantity, that's the maximum reorder quantity, you are going to get the safety level minus minimum consumption times minimum lead time. So then to get the safety stock, you have the annual demand divided by 365, and then multiply by the maximum lead time minus the average lead time. So that is let's look at what we call the economic order quantity. So when you talk of economic order quantity, is the quantity which must be purchased in order to minimize stock cost. Is it okay? Or the optimal cost, or the optimal quantity that you should purchase in order to minimize inventory cost. That's what we call economic order quantity. The optimal quantity which must be ordered in order to minimize inventory cost. And when it comes to inventory cost, we divide them. They are mainly three, but we assume that the purchase cost is constant. So we have the purchase cost, we have the economic order, the holding cost, and then we have what we call the ordering cost. So in this case, so this is our total cost. This line, it is the total cost. And to get this total cost, we get ordering cost plus the holding cost. If you get the ordering cost plus the holding cost, then you get this total cost. Now this curve which moves up downwards is the ordering cost, meaning that as you are increasing quantity, you are reducing the ordering cost. So this one, which is in a straight line, is what called the carrying cost. As you are increasing quantity, then you are increasing the carrying cost. So if you add this, which is the ordering cost plus our carrying cost or holding cost, then you get what we call the total cost. So how do we determine the economic order quantity? Remember, we need a quantity which is going to help us to minimize the ordering cost and the holding cost. So this quantity can be got from this a square root of 2 times C. This C is the ordering cost, then times D. Our D is the annual demand, then divided by our holding cost, IP, or divided by the holding cost. So you are getting the square root of 2 times the ordering cost times the annual demand divided by our holding cost. Let's look at this simple example. If you look at this simple example, a company has annual demand of material which is 25,000 tons per annum. The cost, so meaning this is our D, annual demand. The cost price per ton is 2,000, and the stock holding cost is 25%, meaning our holding cost will be 25% times 2,000, which will be 500. Then the delivery cost per batch, that is the ordering cost, is 400. Then calculate the economic order quantity. So if you have to calculate the economic order quantity from this, remember our formula. Our formula is square root of 2 times ordering cost per order times the annual demand, then divide by our holding cost, which will be 25% times this. Then you can be able to determine your economic order quantity. Now from here you can be able also to determine the ordering cost. Remember our ordering cost, if you are to determine the ordering cost in this course, it will be the number of orders times the ordering cost per order. And in this case, to get the number of orders, it will be the annual demand you are going to get here, the annual demand, divided by the quantity which you have got here under economic order quantity, then times our ordering cost, which is going to be 400. So meaning the figure you are going to get here, which is your economic order quantity. So you are going to get 25,000, which is your annual demand, to get divided by the economic order quantity you have got here, then times the 400, then you can be able to get the ordering cost. Now to get the holding cost, or what sometimes we call the carrying cost, you are going to get the Q, you get Q divided by 2, then times C, which is your, or times your holding cost. So you are going to get the economic order quantity you get here, divide that figure by 2, then times the holding cost, which is 25% of this, then you can be able to get the holding cost. Remember we said to get the total cost, you are going to get your holding cost, which you have got, plus your ordering cost.